ಬಲಿ ಅಶಾರೆನ್ ಸತ್ತ ಅದಿ ಹಕುರು ಬಲಿ ಹೈನಿನ್ ಸತ್ತ ಮಿಫದ ಬಲಿತಕ ಕಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗಂಡು ಗೊತೆಗ್ಗ ತಿಮಾಗೆ ಜಾತಿ ದಿರಿಯುಳ್ಮುಗೆ ಆದಕಾದತಕ ವಶಾಗೆ ಮಾ ಹೌಲಾ ಸೀದಾ ಗುಳುಂ ಹುರಿ ಬಲಿತ ಮಿಗುತುಂ ಕೇಂ ಬೊಯ್ಮುಗೆ ನುರಂಗಳು ಆದತಕ ಹೆಲಿಫೆಲಿವೆಗಳು ಮದುಮಾ ದುಂಫತ್ ಕೆ ಇಸ್ತಿಮಾಲ್ ಕುರುಂ ಅದಿ ರಾಬುಯಿಂ ಫದ ಆದಕಾದತಂ ಹಿಮೆನೆ
Making headlines this hour, President reaffirms his administration's commitment to delivering 12 development pledges to the residents of Goidu Ba Atoll. President visits Tuladu, inaugurating a series of development projects and engaging directly with residents and local officials. Official tourism figures show China is continuing to top the tourist arrival charts so far this year to cross the 200,000 mark. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Minha Maroof. President Dr. Mohammad Moizu reaffirms his administration's commitment to delivering 12 development pledges to the residents of Goidu Ba Atoll, citing tangible progress on several initiatives and outlining timelines for others. The visit formed part of a broader tour of 13 inhabited islands in Ba Atoll, aimed at assessing local priorities and advancing government-led infrastructure projects. During a community gathering on the island, President reiterated the government's resolve to fulfill a dozen pledges designed to support Goidu's long-term development. He noted that several undertakings had already moved into implementation, including the installation of an automated teller machine, ATM, and the commencement of seaplane operations. Among the infrastructure commitments, the President cited the planned expansion of Goidu's harbour. The project remains in the tendering phase, with construction expected to begin approximately 1 month after the tender is finalised. President Moizu stated that the administration has committed to completing the expansion of the school's staff room, a project assigned to Fennica Corporation. The President outlined plans to strengthen the island's energy infrastructure through a comprehensive upgrade of the power station. Healthcare services are set to expand with the construction of a fully equipped health centre. Recreational development has been incorporated into the government's agenda, with a new football field ready for formal announcement and construction of a fitness and recreation center expected to commence later this year. Plans to develop a resort in the Goidu Lagoon and to promote ecotourism are advancing, the President said, with both projects slated for assignment to relevant parties. The President said housing needs have been addressed through the authorization of land allocations under the existing land use plan. Earlier in the day, President Moizu met with members of the Goidu Island Council, the Women's Development Committee, WDC, and heads of local institutions at Goidu School. The meeting focused on the island's most pressing development concerns. Council representatives underscored the need to upgrade the health center and to establish additional public facilities. The decision also addressed the condition of the island's electricity grid and the need to extend power supply to the designated tourism zone. Opportunities for ecotourism development were highlighted, alongside challenges facing Goidu School, including spatial constraints, stalled staff room construction, and defects in the electrical system. Council members requested updates on the status of the multipurpose hall and sports arena projects. In response, President Moizu affirmed that the government would review the concerns in detail and pursue practical solutions. President Moizu's arrival in Goidu marked the 6th stop in his tour of Ba Atoll, which spans from 11th to 14th August and includes 13 inhabited islands. President Dr. Mohammad Moizu visits Toledo in Ba Atoll, inaugurating a series of development projects and engaging directly with residents and local officials. The visit, part of his ongoing tour of the region, underscored the administration's commitment to decentralized governance and its stated priority of addressing the community's specific needs through targeted infrastructure and policy interventions. Speaking at the public gathering, the president reaffirmed his pledge to fulfill all development commitments made to Toledo. He described the island's advancement as a priority for his government. Chief among them is the construction of 100 new residential flats scheduled for commencement within the year. The project has been tendered, bids have been received, and the allocation process will be overseen by the Island Council in consultation with residents, subject to ministerial approval. Land regularization formed another key component of the president's address. He pledged to formalize 119 plots of land that had been privately reclaimed by residents following applications for official recognition. Infrastructure development was also highlighted with confirmation that the Road Development Corporation had been assigned to the island's road construction project. President also addressed the island's healthcare development needs, announcing that specialist doctors, specifically a gynecologist and a pediatrician, would soon be stationed on the island. Responding to long-standing requests, President addressed the desire to designate Embudu as a picnic island. Earlier in the day, the president met with the members of the Toledo Island Council, the Women's Development Committee (WDC), and heads of local institutions at Toledo School. The meeting focused on urgent development priorities, including the designation of a picnic island, the acceleration of housing construction, and the completion of the island's court building. President assured attendees that all concerns would be reviewed comprehensively and addressed through appropriate government channels. A major milestone during the visit was the commencement of practical work on the Toledo Airport Development Project. While President Moizu officiated the ceremony, the operational launch was led by Dr. Abdullah Muttalib, Minister of Construction, Housing and Infrastructure. The project entails the reclamation of 55.4 hectares of land to accommodate an 1,800-meter-long, 30-meter-wide runway built to Code 3C standards. It will also include 2,804 meters of rock revetment and 1,677 meters of geobag revetment. During the visit, President Moizu attended the inauguration of construction of a new police station on Toledo, advancing his administration's pledge to expand policing services across all inhabited islands. President Moizu arrived in Toledo on August 12th morning, marking the fifth stop in his tour of Ba Atoll. He was welcomed by senior officials, institutional representatives, and residents of all ages. President Dr. Mohammad Moizu marks International Youth Day with a call for a comprehensive whole-of-society effort to empower young Maldivians, urging national stakeholders to actively support youth participation in shaping the country's future. President Moizu, in a statement shared on social media, underscored the importance of collective responsibility in fostering youth development. He stressed that young people must be given meaningful opportunities to participate in decision-making processes across all levels of society, from local communities and decentralized governance systems to global platforms, in pursuit of the Sustainable Development Goals. Building on this appeal, President Moizu reaffirmed his administration's commitment to inclusive governance. He described youth as the vanguard of change and underscored the need to cultivate an environment in which their contributions are recognized and their potential fully realized. Coordinated development efforts, he noted, must be celebrated for their diversity, with benefits distributed equitably across society. The President's remarks also included a direct appeal to those in positions of responsibility, urging them to nurture the creative capacities of young people and ensure access to the resources necessary for them to shape their futures. His comments reflect a broader policy orientation that places youth engagement at the center of national progress.
International Youth Day was first observed in 1998 following a global meeting of youth ministers who resolved to designate 12th August as an annual day of recognition for the contributions and potential of young people worldwide. Official tourism figures show China continuing to top the tourist arrival charts so far this year to cross the 200,000 mark.
According to the latest daily update report of the Ministry of Tourism and Environment, 205,130 tourists have visited the Maldives from China as of 10th August, an increase of 15.1% compared to the same period last year. The figures showed that 66,418 tourists have arrived in the Maldives in the first 10 days of this month, taking the total arrivals so far this year to 1.3 million tourists, an increase of 9.1% compared to the 1.2 million tourist arrivals during the same period in 2024. Continuing the trend so far this year, China maintained top spot with the most tourist arrivals, followed by Russia in second. Top 3 tourist source markets: China, 205,130 tourists, Russia, 161,290 tourists, UK, 126,101 tourists. Statistics show that Maldives now welcomes an average of 6,642 tourists daily to its shores. The world-renowned tourist destination in 2024 witnessed the highest number of tourist arrivals in a single year in its 52-year tourism history. According to tourism figures, a total of 2,047,435 tourists have holidayed in the Maldives in 2024. This is a 9% increase from the 1,878,543 tourists from 2023. This marks the first time Maldives has welcomed 2 million tourists to its shores in a calendar year. The government aims to improve tourism occupancy and bring in 2.3 million tourists this year.
The Parliament passes the government-proposed legislative amendment to refine the responsibilities of the Attorney General's AG office. While the Constitution defines the Attorney General's office as an independent body, it had operated under the Civil Service Commission before the Attorney General's Act was ratified by the President in May to establish it as an independent entity. However, the government in June proposed an amendment to the Act to refine the responsibilities of the AG's office, define employment terms of its lawyers, and review salaries and benefits of its staff. According to the amendment passed by the majority of lawmakers during August 12th Parliament sitting, the AG's office will fall under the purview of the President's authority, mandating the Attorney General to formulate a structure for the positions of the Deputy Attorney General, Secretary General, and other employees and seek the approval of the President. The AG's office had previously stressed the need for the amendment to allow the President's office to have a role in formulating its organizational structure. Senior telecommunications regulators and industry experts from across South Asia convene in Maldives this week for a strategic forum aimed at accelerating the adoption and effective integration of emerging technologies within the region's communications infrastructure.
Organized by the South Asian Telecommunication Regulators Council (SATRC), operating under the Asia-Pacific Telecommunity (APT), the three-day meetings held from 12th to 14th August marked the third occasion the Maldives has hosted this regional initiative. 30 delegates from 8 South Asian nations are in attendance, including representatives from leading firms within the Maldivian telecommunications sector. Delivering the keynote address at the opening ceremony, Dr. Mohammad Kinanat, State Minister at the Ministry of Homeland Security and Technology, underscored the Maldives' sustained progress in telecommunications despite enduring logistical and developmental challenges. He outlined the country's technological evolution, noting the transition from third-generation 3G mobile services to the rollout of 4G networks between 2010 and 2020, followed by the establishment of 5G infrastructure in 2019. Building on this trajectory, the State Minister Kinanath highlighted the nationwide implementation of the fiber to the home FTTH network last year. He described its rollout to the entire population as a major achievement for the Maldives and a critical step in expanding equitable digital access. The State Minister also reaffirmed the government's commitment to comprehensive digital transformation. That ambition is encapsulated in Maldives 2.0, the national digital policy announced by President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu, which seeks to ensure that every Maldivian citizen is empowered through technology and positioned to benefit from the country's digital future. Deliberations throughout the forum are expected to examine the operational and regulatory challenges associated with deploying new technologies. State Minister Kinanath expressed confidence that the discussions would contribute to enhancing the quality, resilience, and accessibility of telecommunication services across the region. Speaking to PSM News, Ilyas Ahmed, Chief Executive of the Communications Authority of Maldives, noted that the participants would explore the implications of emerging technologies and assess best practices for their effective implementation. He highlighted that the forum offers a vital platform for regional collaboration, enabling member states to share insights and strategies for advancing communication services through innovation.
Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Welfare launches a program to train and identify lead farmers in the islands where greenhouses are being developed. The project is being implemented under the Maldives Agribusiness Program (MAP), jointly implemented by the Ministry and the International Fund for Agricultural Development (IFAD). MAP is a joint initiative between IFAD and the government of the Maldives, spanning 26 islands across Ha Alif, Ha Dal, and Shaviani atolls. The training will be conducted in 2 rounds with a total of 28 participants, including 18 farmers and field staff of the ministry. The first round will be held from 10th to 17th August before the second round from 25th to 30th August at the Hanimadu Agricultural Center. One of the primary objectives of the program, according to the ministry, is to train lead farmers to ensure best agricultural practices and the effective utilization of the greenhouses built by IFF members. These include ensuring that the daily activities are carried out per the designated crop calendar. The checklist is being monitored regularly, helping with field management or greenhouse work with IFF members by identifying areas for improvement with the advice of the ministry's extension staff. The government has developed greenhouses in a dozen islands in the north of the country amid a renewed push for climate-resilient farming in the island nation. Government relaxes the relevant regulation to facilitate the expedition of the legally mandated Environmental Impact Assessment (EIA) for priority infrastructure development projects. The EIA regulation mandates the submission of an impact assessment study to the Environment Ministry before implementing any developing project that may have a potential impact on the environment. However, the lengthy procedures of conducting the EIA has led to significant delays in key projects, sparking widespread concerns from developers. To address the concerns, the government has amended the regulation to expedite the EIA process to facilitate priority projects sanctioned by the government. The amendment enables priority projects designated by the Cabinet or Cabinet Committee to follow an expedited EIA process. The Ministry of Tourism and Environment has assured that despite the amended regulation, all environmental safeguards will remain in place, with the Ministry of Tourism and Environment empowered to direct measures for swifter processing, where possible under 42-month moratorium granted by the amendment. The ministry said the amendment will facilitate the implementation of government-led developmental projects by expediting the entire administrative process. A parliamentary committee has been tasked with vetting the 2 nominations forwarded by President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu for the Human Rights Commission of Maldives HRCM. The president forwarded his preferred choice for the two-member positions on HRCM out of the eligible candidates who applied following the announcement by the president's office. During the parliament sitting on August 12th, the president's picks, Muhammad Faris Toha and Muhammad Shafiq Mamdood, were forwarded to the Parliamentary Independent Institutions Committee for vetting. The HRCM comprises 5 members. The current commission members are President Mariam Munna, Vice President Mumina Wahid, members Aminat Shifat, Abdul Razak, Samau Ahmad Najib, and Ismail Habib. The 2 vacancies are open as the terms of Mumina and Shifat are set to expire next month. Japan's Nikkei share average powers to an all-time high, swept up by sharp gains for tech stocks as it is caught up with peaks scaled earlier this year by other major global stock markets.
The Nikkei 225 rose as much as 2.5% to 42,867.69 in morning trade session, exceeding the previous high of 42,426.77 set on July 11, 2024. In a roller coaster ride in 2024, the Nikkei had exceeded a record that had stood since 1989 during Japan's bubble economy. Japan's broader topics TOPIX course has been setting successive record highs since July 24 and also scored a new all-time high. Steep gains by tech giants helped the Nikkei finally get over the line. SoftBank Group soared 6.7% and semiconductor industry heavyweights Advantis and Lesser Tech jumped more than 5%. Global equities tumbled after U.S. President Donald Trump's July 2nd Liberation Day announcement of sweeping tariffs on imports from dozens of countries into the U.S. Shares have since more than recouped those losses as trade concerns abated and enthusiasm over artificial intelligence companies soared.
Palestinians at Gaza's Al Ahli Arab Hospital bid farewell to their loved ones killed in Israeli strikes on Gaza City.
Witnesses and medics said Israeli planes and tanks pounded eastern districts of Gaza City again overnight, killing 7 people in 2 houses in the Zaytun suburb and 4 in an apartment building in the city center. The Israeli military said it was looking into the reports and that its forces take precautions to mitigate civil harm. The war began on October 7, 2023, when Hamas-led militants stormed over the border into southern Israel, killing 1,200 people and taking 251 hostages, according to Israeli figures, in the country's worst-ever security lapse. Israel's ground and air war against the Islamist Hamas in Gaza since then has killed more than 61,000 Palestinians, left much of the enclave in ruins and wrought a humanitarian disaster with grave shortages of food, drinking water and safe shelter.
Poland manager Jan Urban says Robert Lewandowski wants to play for his country again after the Barcelona striker quit the national team amid a row over the previous coach's decision to replace him as captain.
Urban was named in July to replace Michael Probias, who resigned in June amid the spat over his decision to take the captain's armband away from Poland's all-time top scorer and hand it to Inter Milan's Piotr Zielinski. Poland sit third in their World Cup qualifying group behind Finland and the Netherlands, and Lewandowski is widely seen as vital to their hopes of reaching next year's tournament. Asked whether Lewandowski would become captain again, Urban said discussions on the topic were ongoing. Poland's next World Cup qualifier is against the Netherlands away on September 4th before they host Finland 3 days later. Lewandowski, 36, has scored 85 goals in 158 appearances for Poland.
Roxana Chicas, PhD, a nurse scientist at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, is leading a groundbreaking effort to protect outdoor workers from the rising threat of heat-related illnesses.
Drawing from her personal experience as a Salvadoran immigrant whose family worked in construction and agriculture, Chicas has spent nearly a decade focused on improving conditions for vulnerable outdoor workers. In collaboration with Georgia Tech, Chicas and researchers have developed a small wearable biopatch device that attaches to a worker's chest and monitors vital signs like skin temperature, heart rate, and respiratory rate.
Farm workers are 35 times more likely to have a heat-related death, followed by construction workers who are 13 times. And so these are the two sectors that have the highest heat-related mortality.
The project was developed with input from farm worker communities who helped shape the research. So far, the biopatch has been tested on 168 farm workers who have responded positively to the idea of using technology to protect their health on the job.
What it does, it monitors basically some of your vital signs, and it's taking all of that information. You just put it on your chest, and all of that data is coming into this device. And eventually, what our computer science team is going to do is use that data to train AI so that we are able to recognize someone who is heading into the danger zone before they collapse from heat stress, and send them an alert in real time to let them know, it's time to take a break, to hydrate, to cool down.
Chicas say they plan to bring the product to market within the next year or two, prioritizing affordability to ensure it's accessible to the workers who need it most.
That's all we have for now. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a pleasant day ahead.
السلام عليكم دنيا كالي بلو من دواء مها بيفلونا بس مرحبا دنوان دنيا كالي مي بروجرام آيكم مي بدل كلي أرغن موسى مطلوب دنيا كالي مي بروجرام كي دنيا کے مسئلہ کو ہنگا مندا اکی کنگما بلالا أرغن تیار کو گنستے پروگرام ہے دن کومی پروگرام گس أرغن تفات موضوع کنگے ببلالا اگو تم می program ga argun badalum ham jifa wa mawdu ki hizbullah jamaatun hatiyar atuluma lubnan sarukaru masak kafeshum de mi mawlumat ta argun menna hissa ko devumat ta ka argun menna ko story ga ba biodata ga nawa armenge analyst mohammad jawad yusuf jawad marhaba inge to den lubnan wa ka dakar hizbullah jamaat ge wa ka me dakkan argun me ham jifa wati hizbullah jamaat feduni kineto karne ge me furatam sawal ka bisa mazu gendani adi miharu israila de kole jamaatun jihad gos adi hodi kamyabi tak ki ko bato sa bay faratum bear mar kane bala kine to me jamaat ge ufedung as mi hasab mi ai
bismillahir rahmanir rahim assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh hizbullah jamaat ki lubnan ge tereng ufeding a jamaat no aste ka addiha tinen hataren hisab geju e jamaan ufeduni den ingodan wan lubnan ki nawaste haddiha fahakum fishigen nawaste nodiha hamaya दाखिली हंगुरामा की तेरे गुण का ओमे वाला दिगुली दाखिली हंगुरामे हिंगा दिया लुबनानु का गयागन का की के दन्नवानी फणरा हरु एक तेरेगा एदोसर को हंगुराम कुरी शियाई मी भारत के कमवा मी अमल मूवमेंट ए मी एरुगा मी अने नसोरा mi maronite nasora inna de kola mi lubnan dakhili hanguramaga mi yani hanguram kuri jamaaten amal movement e amalge e veriyaki e lubnanuge eruge waran siyasi befren ad miharuge parliamentuge rais nabih barri eima mi aslu hizbullah fidige mi amalge tere amal movement kiya mi ane jamaaten ngeto siyasi us jamaate ane kolon askari us jamaate den eruge lubnanu gama e kal sectarian hangurame kuri asu e darikro taka den mazhab taka de tere kuri hangurame ege terega maganu gotti hangurame hingi nasora inna muslimun na de tere de muslimun gotti debay e sunni na shia inna sunni na shia in wara talanu fola ekamak mi nasora inge tering sebek ana bekatara fola eto ten ei wara ni diguli hangurame wara dig wahake on danno mire wahake ki hangurama ge doswaruga israelun aragati nawarsteka addiya deega lubnana eto lubnana aragen irgas lubnana dakhili hangurama hingamun diyei aragen fa den lubnanuge weda beru ta hisabun israel diya eggam dena israel spurati kellun takel libunu den gos mi lubnana mi eri eruga lubnanuge bimuge telin lafa israel hamala deni palestinuge resistance group ta eru adi hamas no fede palestine terek no eru hangurama hinganiki lubnanuge terem mi hamala deni lubnanuge tiweni palestine jamaat den eruga tibi jamaat ki miharuge jamaat ke visno eruga hangurama kuri israel ade kol jihad kuri hama fathu jamaata ane popular front jamaata democratic front jamaata den hengos wargen jamaata ken eruge israel ade kol hangurama kuri lubnanuge bim beenon ko ge lubnanuge bimuge men tibi dekun lubnanuge den ekama de kol mi israel mi adde deega lubnana aragati ngeto aragane den hama ebin beenuwi israel beenuwi lubnanuge tereng palestinuge resistance jamaat tamike jihad gu jamaat fassal den eru mi PLOs e palestinuge minimum kama sekura ma jamaat palestine liberation organization PLO mi kiyani kurugotaka PLO so onen eru lubnan den PLO wediya ki yasir arafat ngora na ora mashhur be friend to yasir arafat palestine ko kurige rais adim furtam rais isme den yasir arafat er hunnevi mi jamaat to veriyaka den hema israel mi masay kuri lubnan aragane ham lubnan ekko palestine kuri jamaat ka fassar ege terega PLO simene hota adi rais yasir arafat simene hota de ekan emin kamyab kuri de harige terega ekan kamyab ko mi PLO fassari ham ekko lubnan eto de amerika ge hiteri kama ekko den PLO di PLO ga hangurama verin na ekko noniya mujahidun na ekko di tunis egora no libya jegen inna uttur afrika ge arabi gawme arabi islami gawme tunis kiyan e tunisia di den hisabun e wara duruta israel ehma israel de sida hangurama en koreven den e fahud mi mihargu mi hangurama jamaat noniya mihargu mi jihad gu jamaat on fedgin di misal ka hamas islamic jihad jamaat mi jamaat on fedgin di palestine tere khas ko gaza ke tere mi de jamaat on fedgin di yedo de awul mi dakkan hizbullah go hakama edosru lubnan arafa den hizbullah ader no fede adi hede yedo israel arafa israel fabagen di iruga fabagen di mi PLO fasalaf ber kollaf di iruga lubnan ga sarhad de buffer zone kan hadafa e de kun lubnan ga sarhad de hadaf etan no fabawti eto egan 17 kilometer ga sarhad de fulami den hama israel border hama jehigen ina sarhad de den sarhad duga israel sifan tibe fa de sarhad duga sarhad lubnan sifan na kosno de lubnan ga sarhad de mi humeti mi rakkater ko shekiya fa israel naga fa sarhad adi ego tak israel no sedene ego tan hadafa den etan no fabaga faga mi aggada kollima demmi ufeduni hama lubnan ga tere mi dene amal jamaat ga tere hizbullah me feduni den budave gotu iran ga sahideri kama ekko feduni hizbullah maqsad ka vi lubnan ga dakhili hangurama tere wanna kanno hizbullah maqsad ka vi israel ekal lubnan ga bin hifag motima dekun lubnan etanu fassal den hizbullah amal ga tere nokti amal jamaat ga bayin asweru yeto mehar amal jamaat be ko mehar amal jamaat ga hatiyaren ne emon ke mehar siyasi bay ege tere la hizbullah nokti ham hatiyar jamaat ko nukume israel dimakuri sar sifain den hizbullah ra kamyab ema ingeto para kamyab e hangurama ga terega mi hizbullah إسرائيل فصل إسرائيل ثب بيكوس مرالي إما إما فرطة حزب الله في دقيقة عقوين هذه إما فرطة كاميابة كيس لبنان بيمون إسرائيل فصل إنجتوا ديوانا كاميابة كي إسرائيل حزب الله
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر